Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to Sundering Tarot. Or if you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. This is going to be your full moon in Capricorn reading. This is good for the 2nd through the 4th of July. So for those of you that also reside in the U.S., happy 4th of July, first and foremost. And as this is a full moon in Capricorn, I fully expect to see a lot of things about career outlook, goals, steps along the way, missteps, redirections, and an overview of where you're at, short and long-term goals. So we'll see what comes out. I'm going to be using the same spread that I used on my last full moon reading. I've also been asked to use an anchor card, so things will be slightly different. But let me go ahead and get your main spread out on the table, and I will see you on the other side. Feel free to check the timestamps in the description box down below if you would like to fast forward. All right, my lovelies. Thank you for rejoining me. I have your main spread out on the table, and I do have our anchor cards that gave us more than one. I will reveal those at the end of the reading. We'll see how they play out in your overall effect. So let's go ahead and jump right into this reading. We're going to start with your very first column. This is the energy that is working for you. So this is usually something very positive. So let's see what they gave you. They gave you the Three of Wands, which I do believe, yeah, the Three of Fire from the Magical Dogs. It's also the same card we end on for this reading. And the Ten of Wands reversed is our overall energy. And I've clarified that with the Two of Fire, so the Two of Wands. The Shaman, which is our Hierophant reversed. And the Ten of Sky, the Ten of Swords. Okay. So the thing that's been working for us for this time period is actually we're expanding beyond blockages. We're expanding beyond things that halted us. And it shows up here that we were literally put in a timeout. We were put on the sidelines. We kind of had a hermit mode for just a little while, and that was to address the things that we did not know, the things that we had not tied up for loose ends, things that were not fully integrated and learned that were causing us harm, that were not working. So a little bit of a reevaluation time. And for those of you that are new to my channel and who have not been paying attention to my daily tarot readings for about the last 2 weeks, my daily astrology did pick up on this timeout. So that has been prevalent in a lot of my daily reads. So the fact that this is here for what is working for us, it served a purpose. So for anyone who did not like that energy or got sick and tired of hearing it, well, here it is again, but it served a purpose. That was the universe helping you to level up, to push you forward, to help you integrate lessons and complete things, to get your ducks in a row, to do what you needed to, basically. A lot of moving pieces. So sometimes that means, yes, holding still and focusing and figuring things out is the only thing we can do, and it's the best thing we can do. So let's see what they would like for clarifying for these 3 cards. Let's see what other information we can get for what is working for you. Okay. That did not come out smoothly. It was going to get caught, but. So we have Judgment, the Eight of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Four of Swords. Yeah, very much a timeout to look at things that had to go. That Ten of Sky, Ten of Swords, that was harming you. Things that did not belong because it was harming your spirituality. It was harming your well-being, especially your emotional well-being. I wouldn't be surprised if you had been forced to rest, pause in order to purge things that were, stressing you out, things that no longer belonged in your spiritual practice, things that maybe were in conflict with your spiritual practice. So one of those, if you had an ethical situation, you had something that your spiritual practice would be null and void, but in your everyday life, you were accepting it, and those two were butting heads. So that was a lesson to be learned of contradiction. Interesting that's coming up, but there you go. They have nothing else to add on that. So we're going to go ahead and fix this back up all nice and tidy, and we'll move on to the next section. So our second column is what's working against us. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It's just something that usually serves a purpose, but it can feel horrible. I totally get that. So let's see what we have here. For the overall energy, we have the Knight of Swords in the reverse, the Knight of Cups in the reverse, the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Three of Pentacles. Okay, so what was working against us was literally a timeout, which we picked up here, that served a purpose. However, what was working against us at the time, and probably what we wanted, was the fact that we were being slowed down. And at the same time, we were being repeatedly shoved in and force-fed basically things that were conflicting with our emotional state, the things that we wanted. So there was friction, there was things going against the grain, and that was so we would release it. It's that Four of Pentacles that I showed you, and that would hopefully force us to build or rebuild in some cases if we let go of it. So, timeout served a purpose. At the same time, we were slowed down to highlight problems. But since that was not something that we probably asked for, something that we called for, something that we wanted, that was in conflict with your nature, with your conscious mind, with what your desires and motivations were at the time. So hence why it's showing up here again in our against energy. It's interesting that it came out that way, but duality being what it is, our wants and needs differ. So just because we wanted something else doesn't mean that's not necessarily what we needed. And what we needed was freeing and to slow down, learn our lessons, and unfortunately our desires were in conflict with that, but yeah, it served a purpose. Let's see what they gave us for, they gave us the Sky Guardian, which is literally our Knight of Swords in the reverse. You have it right here, so you have double energy. Yeah, slowed down. Ace of Sky, so this is our Ace of Swords in the reverse. Because we lack clarity, we lack focus, and direction at the same time, because there was simple truths that we needed to acknowledge. And then the Trickster, so we have double energy. So as we were having things highlighted, attachments were highlighted. That was so we could learn. However, on the flip side, and this is the against part, with the Trickster comes distractions. So procrastination, I actually picked up on that a week or so ago. If you've been paying attention to my daily tarot readings, this energy's been going for a little while, but it's interesting that it's still coming out for our full moon energy as we transition from our time out, stalemate, being in hermit mode to moving forward. And watch me send my crystal and my deck flying. I'm curious to see what they have extra to say on this. Spirit clarification for the energy that is against the collective for the full moon. We have the Magician. The Ace of Fire, the Page of Wands, and the King of Cups. Okay, remember we had the Queen of Cups for clarification over here. Now we have the King. Yeah, you had the strong urge to create, to be motivated, literally motivated, with the Ace of Wands right here, to get moving, to do things, to create things, to use any inspiration, motivation as it came up to your heart's desire. However, distractions, unfocus, lack of clarity, that was going against you. So what you wanted and what you got were two different things. That's where that needs and wants energy being in conflict, the duality that I was picking up on is. So just because you want something, you desire it, does not necessarily mean you're going to get it. In this case, what you needed was to slow down and address things, even if the universe was, allowing you to procrastinate, giving you situations where you could have that out. However, once we connect the dots over here with this energy that's working for us, once we get out of that hermit mode, this right here that they just gave us, your wants, are probably going to be something that you can have and you can have free reign on, because working for you, the Three of Wands, 10 of Wands in reverse, you're able to get the path cleared and blow by the resistance, which is what's working against you right here that we're covering right now. Okay. Blockages served a purpose. Full steam ahead once we learn what our hang-ups are, what we need to integrate, particular areas that are causing us conflict and pain, especially pain. We'll see how else that plays out through the rest of our reading. So we'll move on to our next column. And of course, our last column here is our outcome. So we have the Page of Swords in the reverse and the Nine of Cups. Okay, so just with these two, we've learned certain truths are not for us. We've learned certain pathways are not for us. We've also learned that when we don't give energy to that, sometimes the experience, the situation is more fulfilling because we're heading in the right direction. So instead of accepting everything all the time and putting our energy into everything, we've learned to micromanage. We've learned to expand our energy and budget our energy, if you would, as well as our effort. That way we're moving in a direction that is more fulfilling, more joyous, more productive. So in other words, instead of planting 20 seeds in a garden, we've learned which ones will grow, which ones will not. Or at least we've learned to cut back enough that instead of trying to plant 20 different seeds, we've realized, okay, we're going to do 3 of this one and 4 of this one and only 2 seeds of this one and see what grows. So we've learned to minimize and reprioritize what we're trying to do in a way that's more streamlined, in a way that's more efficient, more productive, less hazardous, less risk to ourselves. So we have a higher success rate. And part of that is knowing the difference between what we need and what we want, and where we're meeting resistance. Because if we're meeting resistance, something's wrong. They put us in a stalemate to learn for a reason. However, the knowledge that we've gained on things that do not work or that are in conflict, we've been able to integrate that enough that certain ideas, certain ways of moving, we can now throw that out and work in a more positive direction. So let's see what else they have to clarify. We have the Six of Pentacles in reverse, the Nine of Wands, and the Three of Wands, which is the card we started off on. So yes, when it comes to the right ideas towards fulfillment, we've learned that sometimes where we put our energy, where we invest, it is going to be hard and difficult to integrate and expand on, to actually see the desired result of what we're wanting. However, if we've learned our lesson and we don't put our energy in those areas, the battle becomes easier and we're free to expand, to move on, to seek other things, to seek it in a new way, but at the same time to get a different result. So if we've went ahead and put a 10-year plan into action and we've stumbled along the way, we've made poor choices, we haven't learned from our mistakes, we haven't realized we're being roadblocked, that instead of our plan taking 10 years to do like we foresaw, it was going to take 15. Once we learn where our hangups are, once we realize where we're being misdirected, where we're procrastinating, dragging our feet, or where things are in conflict, we can now shorten that time period because we're doing so efficiently. We're micromanaging better. Our energy usage is better. So instead of maybe taking 10 years, maybe we're able to actually move forward ahead to make it an 8-year plan. This is the kind of overview that I expected to see for full moon in Capricorn, just because the long and short-term plans and being able to see your steps, your missteps, all your redirections, it's coming out fairly well. But yes, if we've learned to ignore distractions, if we've gained our focus, our clarity, and found out the areas where we have strife and learn to navigate around it, we get the better outcome. We get better navigation. Okay. All right. Let's clarify this outcome. The Five of Swords. So yeah, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Sky, the Two of Sky. Okay, we've had a lot of aces so far in this reading. We have the Ace of Sky, which is the Ace of Swords, right here and here. Plus we already had the Ace of Wands. So yeah, a lot of major lessons and energy going around. And yes, Five of Swords, clarifying this lovely Six of Pentacles in the reverse. When we're giving our energy or to the wrong things, or over-giving in certain areas to where we're causing ourselves harm, that is a detriment. Those are things in conflict. But when we're no longer doing that, we get clarity, we get the opportunity to make different choices. As I said, we win the battle more. Our struggle isn't so much of a struggle anymore. Instead, we start to become empowered enough to move past it. And in this case, it's showing up as the Two of Sky. We get a choice. We're recognizing that, okay, Not every direction is going to pan out. Not every bit of information that we get, that we receive, is accurate, that's going to work for us. Remember, all roads lead to Rome. So there's more than one way of doing things. And just because somebody's tried something and has this big long plan and you try it yourself doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because you're different from them. So just because it's been done before doesn't mean it's going to work out the exact same way for you. Sometimes it's best to tread your own path. But when we acknowledge the things that do not work, that gives us the opportunity, the hope, the wish, the big dream of a future of, okay, so not there, don't go there, don't invest there. We can actually put our energy in a different spot now, and maybe it'll work. So there's a little bit of a light bulb moment with this Page of Swords in the reverse and the Nine of Cups. We've realized that sometimes we're halted and we just need to reassess. Our time out served a purpose. Like I said, when our wants and our needs are in conflict, it can be a struggle. But at the core of the situation is timeouts and moments of friction serve a purpose. They're usually meant to halt us. Best to start asking questions when that happens. Nope, and I just put the crystal on the wrong deck. Here we go. Let me fix it because it feels weird. All right, and I do have the anchor cards. I know I'm moving quite quickly, but let's see what they had for the anchor of the reading. Spring, see your seeds grow. Lord, take charge with authority. Water Guardian, connect with your emotions. Remember, we had the Queen of Cups with your for energy, and we also had your King of Cups show up as a clarifier for the for your against energy, them repeatedly showing you the negative aspect. So what works, what doesn't work. Oh. Winter, take care of your needs. And Mirror Guardian, take time to reflect. That does not surprise me that came out either. We are talking about planning. We're talking about navigating. And I literally in your outcome refer to planting seeds. We see that with our spring card. Yes, we are talking about charting your plans of actions, your goals, especially with the Capricorn placement for this full moon. Not surprised to see the Lord card. Yes, the Water Guardian. We saw cups, plenty of cups. Taking care of your needs. Like I kind of addressed this already. Micromanaging, energy management, being more proficient in anything you do. And that's including after being slowed down, being distracted, having procrastination. This is all a re-inventory. And yes, spiritual care, inventory care of your life and how you navigate is still a form of care. And that is something that, for those of us that are classified as witch, know that this is everyday or regular work that we tend to do. Whether it's daily reassessment, whether it's when things crop up, like when we're in a stalemate, or just shadow work that we opt to dive headlong and tackle. And then the Mirror Guardian, take time to reflect. We're literally showing as us being either in a stalemate currently or having resurfaced from one, and seeing the aftermath going forward throughout this full moon in Capricorn. Okay, they're wanting me to read this as an advice as well as just the anchor card and how it ties into the reading. So if we want to put energy into literally anything, work, love, finances, what have you, We have to exert our control, authority, our precision, our productivity, as well as our knowledge, and hopefully with our emotions and our intuition on whether or not that is something worthy of us doing. At the same time, this is something that we need to do where it doesn't cause us conflict, doesn't cause us hurt. Make sure there's no blowback or risk. If we're burning ourselves out, that is harm, and maybe we need to scale back. If we're overexerting ourselves, if we're not using our knowledge as we move forward, instead we're just flying by the seat of our pants, using our emotions and taking too big of a risk, we may harm ourselves. So be aware that sometimes the best thing we can do is slow down and reflect on our actions of, okay, what am I trying to achieve? What am I wanting as an outcome for this? Why am I doing it? And is it worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Am I actually going to see a good result from this? And if you put energy into something and the result is good, okay, fine. Consider asking whether or not it's still worth it to continue that way, or if you need to double down on it. If you attempt something, new or old, you're putting effort someplace and it fails. If you have blowback, whether it's your mental, emotional state, your energy levels, things just literally have a bad ending, ask yourself, why are you still putting energy into it? Ask yourself what new thing you can do to change it, to change the outcome. Whether that's either you stop putting energy into it and you realize that's the bad thing and you find something else to put your energy into, or you realize maybe the way that you went about it was not healthy. So you just need to change the way you approach. Time out serves a purpose. Time to reflect. Yes, time out serves a purpose. All right, my lovelies. I hope this reading was enlightening for some of you. If it resonates, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button down below. Feel free to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys later. Bye.